Hey everybody, Dr. Jerry Sunshine Novak here from Growth and Thriving LLC, Personal and Performance Coaching. Wanted to put out a little video clip today about how we meet our children's needs. And this is a phenomenon or a domain, an area of parenting that sounds way simpler than it really is. Because on some levels it's simple, right? Our kids, especially when they're little, have physiological needs, right? They need to be clean, they need to be fed, they need to get sleep, they need to get medical attention from time to time, they need to have clothing that fits them and is also in clean and good repair. But they also have intellectual needs that change as they age, as their brain matures, right? And school does handle a lot of this, right? Mathematics advance as they go through school, and reading levels advance as they go through school. But each teacher in each school has, close to 30 children that he or she needs to attend to. And your child's individual intellectual needs may not line up exactly with what's in the class, so you might need to supplement or help in some way. Your child also has emotional needs and has social needs that change throughout the course of their life. If you've raised a child up to adolescence, as an adolescent, you're probably experiencing right now that their social needs are very different than they once were. And it's our job to help provide those needs. What I'm going to throw out as a challenge or an invitation for folks in this group, and you don't have to be a dad, right? You could be a mom or an aunt or a family friend, but specifically, anyone can think this way about their kids. There is a good amount of research demonstrating that this sort of thing that I'm about to introduce is particularly impactful when it comes from dads, distinct from coming from moms, just as it lands differently. And I think part of the reason is because men are socialized differently than women, and we're raised such that by the time we become dads, very often, we have this perspective like, if I could get up every morning, I drag my ass out of bed and I get to work, and I work like a slave all day long, and I pay the mortgage, and I keep the lights on, and I put food on the table, and maybe I dole out discipline when the kids misbehave, that they should then infer from those behaviors that I love them. And unfortunately, the affection piece of parenting doesn't work that way. The affection piece is important. Let me sidetrack for a second. The affection piece matters. Research done on children, longitudinal research, long-term research that followed children over the course of something like 30 years, demonstrated that children who grow into the healthiest adults, the best outcomes, had parents who were both high in warmth and high in demand. So yes, we demand that they do their chores, we demand that they get decent grades, maybe we demand that they participate in some athletics of some sort, all right? We have demand for them. We demand that they respect their elders, whatever it is in your family, in your culture, in your religion, in your household, you decide those things. But they also need parents who are high in warmth. And getting back to this idea that, well, I work all day and I pay the bills and I put food on the table and they should deduce from that I love them, doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like that. I mean, certainly those behaviors are demonstrations of love, and when your kids get older, they may appreciate that more. That's true. But in the moment, again, the research is pretty clear that it's our job, or that things work better, it benefits our children more if we learn to demonstrate affection in the way they need to receive it, as opposed to demonstrating it in a way that's comfortable for us and doesn't require much vulnerability or much reach in terms of what we're comfortable with, right? We might be uncomfortable with physical, non-sexual physical attention toward our children, right? We're maybe okay, perfectly comfortable with physical affection in a sexual nature toward our partners, but not toward our children, especially if we have boys. Or we may not even be comfortable with the words, with "I love you" and "I'm proud of you" and "I love being your dad, it's my favorite thing," or things of that nature. I see so many parents at their kids' sporting events yelling and screaming about how to perform better and how to, cut the angle or box them out or whatever it happens to be, coaching and coaching and coaching, when the kids really have coaches already. What they need from a parent usually is just, "Hey, I love to watch you play." No mention of win or loss, just "I love to watch you play." And a lot of men find themselves in unfamiliar territory, uncomfortable with that. But again, the research demonstrates that it's our job to overcome that discomfort on behalf of our children than it is to do what's comfortable for us and let our kids deduce from that there's love and affection. So this all brings me around to, I think that idea of having to get outside our comfort zones maybe and demonstrate love and affection in the way that they need as opposed to the way we like is part of growth. That's part of growth. A lot of times what's in the way of that kind of vulnerability is shame. And that shame might be connected to lessons we were taught about what it means to be a man or about masculinity, or not. It could be connected to trauma that we experienced. It could be connected to early adverse childhood experiences, right? It could be that we didn't have a model for this sort of affection. We grew up ourselves without that. And so now we have to create it from scratch because we don't get to sort of cheat off of our caregivers because maybe they weren't able to provide that for us. And so I want to encourage you all to make an exercise out of trying to identify what your kids need on a deep level. Yeah, they might need discipline right now, or they might need to focus right now, or they might need guidance or advice. That could be true. But they might also need connection and compassion, maybe, or affection, or whatever a safe environment for them to deal with life struggles looks like. And it's on us to provide those things as well if we really want to do what's in our children's best interest. So think about, what do your children really need beyond the obvious? And how are you going to provide that? In some cases, it may be perfectly comfortable, perfectly easy for you to do that. If so, great. In other cases, you might need to look inward and do a little work first before you can really provide it for your children. I've had to do that a ton of times because of my own previous trauma and experiences from my upbringing. I've absolutely had to reconcile my own life disappointments and hurts and triggers in order to not project them downward onto my children. And I don't always succeed at it. I fuck it up plenty. But I'm mindful and I try. So please, by all means, drop a comment under the video. Tell me what you think. Let's talk about some of your successes and maybe some of your struggles in doing this very thing. How do we identify our children's needs? And then when our children need something that's outside our comfort level, how do we grow as adults, as men and fathers, or in some cases as women, mothers, or just caregivers in general? How do we grow in such a way that we can effectively meet those needs? Until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your participation in this group, definitely. And as I said, drop a comment. You can drop a video comment if you like and talk right back at me. Until next time, take care, everybody. Thank you.